A Christmas Dare. The snow fell softly on Christmas Eve, covering the Colorado mountains in a blanket of white silence. Inside his cabin, Marcus Sullivan stood by the window, watching the flakes dance in the glow of the porch light. Behind him, a fire crackled in the stone fireplace, and a modest Christmas tree twinkled in the corner. Marcus was alone, and that was exactly how he wanted it. As the CEO of Sullivan Tech, he had spent years building his company from nothing into something remarkable. Along the way, he had attended countless dinners where well-meaning friends tried to set him up. Blind dates, they called them. Marcus called them distractions. He had been to a dozen, maybe more, and each one felt like a waste of time. Small talk about weather and hobbies, forced laughter, awkward silences. After a while, he stopped accepting the invitations altogether. "Love is for people who have time," he told his assistant once. "I have a company to run." But tonight, in the quiet of his cabin, far from boardrooms and conference calls, Marcus felt something he rarely acknowledged: loneliness. It settled over him like the snow outside, gentle but persistent. He turned from the window and walked to the kitchen. His niece, Emma, sat at the table in her orange sweater, playing with a stuffed bear. She was 7 years old, visiting for the holidays, while her parents were overseas. "Uncle Marcus," she said, looking up with bright eyes, "why don't you have anyone to spend Christmas with?" Marcus paused, pouring himself coffee. "I have you, don't I?" "You know what I mean," Emma said with the brutal honesty only children possess. "My mom says you work too much. She says you need someone to make you smile." Marcus sat down across from her. "I smile plenty." "Not really," Emma said thoughtfully. "Not like you mean it." Before Marcus could respond, his phone buzzed. A text from his business partner, Tom, still avoiding Rachel. "She asked about you again. Just meet her once." "What's the worst that could happen?" Marcus sighed. Rachel Chen. He had heard her name 100 times. She worked in finance, loved hiking, had a great sense of humor. Tom and his wife had been trying to set them up for months. Marcus had declined every time, certain it would be another wasted evening. Emma leaned over to peek at his phone. "Who's Rachel?" "No one," Marcus said quickly. "Is she pretty?" "Emma, I dare you to invite her over," Emma announced suddenly, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Marcus blinked. "What? I dare you," Emma repeated. "It's Christmas Eve. Call her and invite her here. If you don't, you have to eat Brussels sprouts for breakfast." Marcus couldn't help but smile. "That's not much of a threat." "Then you have to wear my pink tutu to work," Emma added triumphantly. "Absolutely not." "Then call her," Emma said, crossing her arms. Marcus looked at his niece, then at his phone. The idea was ridiculous. It was Christmas Eve. Rachel probably had plans. And even if she didn't, showing up to a stranger's cabin in the mountains was hardly a normal first meeting. But something in Emma's hopeful expression made him hesitate. Maybe it was the loneliness. Maybe it was the way the cabin felt too quiet, too empty. Or maybe it was the fact that deep down he was tired of being alone. "Fine," Marcus said, picking up his phone. "But when this turns into nothing, I'm blaming you." Emma grinned. "Deal." Across town, in the small apartment decorated with white lights and garland, Rachel Chen sat on her couch, staring at her phone. The text from Tom's wife, Sarah, had arrived 20 minutes ago. "Marcus finally wants to meet you. He's at his cabin for Christmas. I know it's last minute, but he said you're welcome to stop by. I think you two would really hit it off. Here's the address." Rachel read the message 3 times. Marcus Sullivan, the man everyone kept telling her about, the workaholic CEO, who apparently never smiled and treated blind dates like corporate meetings. Sarah and Tom had been pushing this for months, and Rachel had politely resisted. She had been on enough bad dates to know when something felt forced, but tonight, sitting alone in her apartment, Rachel felt restless. Her family was in California. Her friends were busy with their own celebrations, and the thought of spending Christmas Eve watching old movies felt unbearably sad. "What's the worst that could happen?" she muttered to herself, echoing the exact words Tom had texted Marcus. She stood, walked to her closet and pulled out her grey coat. Underneath, she wore a deep red blouse, elegant but understated. She had bought it weeks ago for a holiday party that never happened. Why not wear it now? 20 minutes later, Rachel was driving through the snowy mountains, her headlights cutting through the darkness. The roads were slippery and the snow fell heavier now, but she kept going. Part of her felt insane for doing this. Another part felt strangely excited. When she finally reached the cabin, she sat in her car for a moment, gathering her courage. Warm light glowed from the windows. Smoke curled from the chimney. It looked like something out of a Christmas card. Rachel took a breath, stepped out into the snow, and walked to the front door. Marcus heard the knock and froze. Emma jumped up from the table, her face lighting up. She came. She actually came. Marcus walked slowly to the door, his heart beating faster than it should. He opened it, and there she was. Rachel stood on his porch, snowflakes clinging to her hair and coat. Her cheeks were flushed from the cold, and her brown eyes were bright with nervous energy. She looked beautiful, but more than that, she looked real. Not polished or performative, just real. "Hi," she said, her voice soft. "I'm Rachel. I'm sorry for just showing up like this." Sarah said, "Well, she said you invited me, but if this is weird, I can absolutely leave." Marcus found himself smiling. A real smile, the kind Emma had said he never gave. "No, don't leave. Please, come in." Rachel stepped inside, and Emma appeared immediately, grinning like she had orchestrated the whole thing, which in a way she had. "I'm Emma," she announced. "I dared him to call you. Do you like hot chocolate?" Rachel laughed, a warm, genuine sound that filled the cabin. "I love hot chocolate." As Emma ran to the kitchen, Marcus and Rachel stood in the doorway, snow melting on her coat, the fire crackling behind them. For the first time in years, Marcus felt something shift inside him. Not a grand revelation, just a quiet realization that maybe, just maybe, he had been wrong. "I'm glad you came," he said softly. Rachel met his eyes, and her expression softened. "So am I." Outside, the snow continued to fall, blanketing the mountains in silence. Inside, Emma returned with 3 mugs of hot chocolate, and the 3 of them sat by the fire, talking and laughing as the hours slipped by. Marcus had thought blind dates were a joke, but tonight, a Christmas dare had brought someone unexpected to his door. And for the first time in a long time, he wasn't alone, neither was she.